How do you take something simple and make it complicated? If you've ever done any woodworking, you know that this happens all the time, usually by accident. In this video, however, making something simple a little more complicated is exactly what I'm intending to do. So over the next several minutes, you'll see me do just that, which is build a table, but the table will have a hidden drawer that slides out of the apron itself up underneath the table. And if I pull this off properly, you'll never even know that the drawer was there. Now the first step in any table build, regardless of a fancy hidden drawer or not, is obviously to mill up all the pieces to proper dimensions. And if you paid close attention in that last shot, you'll notice that I moved the fence just slightly outward for one of those aprons, leaving it a little bit wider than the other pieces. Now as far as the layout of the legs and the aprons themselves, everything goes in the normal place, and in fact we'll even join these pieces together just like any other table. But the reason that one of our long aprons is wider than the other is that so we can rip it in two sections. And as strange as this concept seems, we'll actually end up gluing that piece back together. Sort of. So we'll grab the thicker piece and we'll plane the bottom off to make sure that these two pieces are now the same thickness. But we can't do that to begin with because we need to take in account the thickness of the blade when we originally ripped the piece in half. So here in just a second, we'll cut a section out of that apron out, and that'll actually become the drawer front for the drawer box we're going to put up underneath this table. Before we can do that, however, we need to first put this dado groove on the outside of all the apron pieces. And this is purely for decorative purposes, but this is one detail that I think looks great on tables. And at this point, I was already second guessing the order that I was doing things in, because trying to cut a dado groove while holding the small piece of the apron that I ripped in half seemed like an absolutely terrible idea. Luckily, I was able to use the thin rip jig to do the exact same thing. So back to our main and most important apron of this table, we'll cut this into 3 pieces, making sure that those outer pieces are roughly the same length. And you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble of ripping the apron and then cross-cutting the apron and trying to get all the pieces lined up? The answer to that question is obvious in this shot, and as I demonstrate how this drawer will work, you can see that the grain continues all the way across that entire apron, which is where the hidden aspect of this drawer comes into play. Now we want to get the drawer as close as possible to all of the other pieces of the apron, but obviously because it's a drawer, it needs to be functional, meaning that it needs to slide open. So to make sure that we have a small spaced gap that's equal on both sides, I used a couple playing cards on each end. And if you've ever seen videos of someone building drawers, or you've built drawers yourself, there's a good chance that you're familiar with this card trick. But if you haven't seen the card used before, well, just consider this the tip of the day. And honestly, using cards works great for this purpose. So after all of that effort of cutting this apron piece apart, we'll glue it back together, except we'll leave that centerpiece out because, as I mentioned, that centerpiece will become the actual drawer face. For the assembly of the apron pieces to the legs, I'm just using dominoes, and that's mainly because the domino is so easy to use. But if you're thinking, hey man, I don't have a domino and maybe I want to build a table like this, don't be discouraged because you could use pocket holes or dowels to do the exact same thing, both of which I've done in the past and actually work very well. So one extremely important thing to pay attention to when I'm assembling this frame is that on the inside of the upper frame of the table, you'll notice those 2 perpendicular pieces, which will serve as braces for the tabletop in the middle of the table. The important part is that they stretch all the way across and they fit perfectly flush with the opening in the apron of where we cut that drawer face out earlier. We'll see why exactly that is a little later in the video, but as you're seeing me clamp this table base together, you might find yourself wondering, where did those table legs come from? And because you asked, now is the perfect time to tell you that I reached out to and partnered with Osborne Wood Products for this video. As a full disclaimer, Osborne did provide me the legs for this video, but if you want my true and honest opinion, these legs are absolutely gorgeous, and honestly, I don't think you could find a better quality product anywhere. The link to these specific legs can be found in the description, but if you're interested in any type of table legs or turn legs, be sure to check out Osborne Wood Products, as I can guarantee you won't be disappointed. So back to the build itself, and more specifically the drawer that we're going to attach up under this table, which is nothing more than just 4 pieces of oak with a floating panel to serve as the drawer bottom, which is also made from oak. I wanted to keep that bottom panel as thick as possible, which came out to just over 1/4 of an inch, so I had to make multiple passes on my table saw to get that groove to the right size. As far as drawer assembly goes, I just elected to use dominoes. And I did for a minute consider dovetails, but just to keep it simple, and especially respecting time on this table build, using dominoes for this part just made the drawer go nice and smoothly. Now thankfully this is a YouTube video, meaning that we don't have to wait for that glue to dry. And since the glue is already dry, we can quickly move forward with attaching that drawer up underneath the apron. And if it wasn't obvious enough, that'll be accomplished by using these side mount drawer slides. Now in the past you've seen me use the undermount drawer slides, which work great. But the problem with those undermount styles, for this build at least, is that this drawer is a little on the shallow side. And if we use the undermount, we're going to lose even another 1/2 inch or so, and there really won't be room for anything in these drawers. So while you can get a little more extension with those undermounts, for this scenario at least, these side mount slides worked perfectly. So at this point in the build, everything had been going relatively smoothly, even including cutting that apron into multiple pieces. But per usual, just about the time you get confident with everything, that's where you start to notice a small problem. So if you are familiar with using oak for builds, you'll know that one characteristic of oak is splintering. And I'm not sure if I could have prevented this in any way, but for whatever reason, that sharp edge on the apron had some minor splintering, causing me to unfortunately have to round over the edges. And while that was a bummer, I don't really think it takes a whole lot away from the table, as we'll still have a fully functional continuous grain drawer up under the apron. But one thing that I did notice, which is what you see me trying to correct here, is that there was a slight bow across the front piece of that apron, which makes sense considering I cut out probably 3/4 of the apron. And since all of the aprons are technically weight bearing to the structure, I needed to somehow reinforce them with an additional internal structure. Now this of course would have been much easier to do if I planned ahead and did this in the original design. But since I am winging this design like I am pretty much everything 99% of the time, I didn't plan ahead. So I cut a 1/2 lap joint and put another board right down in the center and was able to connect those inner joints. On the outer joint I originally planned on using a domino, but there would have been no way to get a domino in there. So a different solution was just to bury some screws and some countersink holes that I drilled and then plug them up with dowels. And if you find yourself thinking, why are you using end grain dowels rather than making your own from edge grain? Well, I attempted it, and this was the result. I even bought the set of plug cutters specifically for this, but it looked like they might be more effective at either making charcoal or a fire rather than cutting clean plugs. So instead I just decided that these dowels would be a feature of the side apron, and once they're sanded smooth, honestly, I think they looked great. So the drawer face itself is just attached to the actual drawer from the inside using some screws. And in literally no time at all, we have a functional drawer. with some additional nice slow close hinges just for a little bonus. So with the bottom frame of the table done for the most part, we can get started on the tabletop. And the tabletop is made from these rough sawn red oak boards that had been skip planed, but they had some rough edges. So the first step I needed to do was grab my track saw and get the best edge I could, at least to start things out. While the seams were drastically improved from the track saw, they definitely weren't ready for a glue up, so we'll head over to the joiner. Now typically whenever building a tabletop, you'll need to first face joint each of the boards and then plane them on the opposite side. But for this table, it was requested to me that those top boards be left as wide as possible. So each board you see is about 10 inches wide and my joiner is only 8 inches wide, meaning that I can't face joint these. So instead I'm doing this tabletop glue up in 2 sections, and I'll be running both of these sections through the planer to smooth out the surfaces obviously, but hopefully to strategically plane any of the warp of the boards out if I can glue them together to cancel the warp out between the 2 boards. So while this sounds like a great strategy that takes some careful planning, honestly I was completely winging it and keeping my fingers crossed that it would work. These boards set very flat to begin with, so I'm not sure if it was because the boards were in such good shape or I just got lucky, but regardless of whatever the actual reasoning is, I ended up with 2 really flat panels, but also really smooth without any seams. Meaning that all I have to do is get that center joint perfectly aligned and make sure the tabletop is setting flat for the glue up, and we should be good to go. After an uneventful glue up, we can cut this tabletop to size. This step is certainly easiest with the track saw, but you can do the exact same thing with a circular saw on a straight edge. In final preparation for the finish on this tabletop, we'll round over the edges to soften the profile, but also to prevent any further splintering. After those edges are softened, the very last thing we'll do is sand everything down, the tabletop and the table base. The legs are already good to go, but I just sand everything down, working my way to 120. And for the finish, I will be trying something new that I have never done before and actually haven't seen this used very frequently on tables. The reason I'm using this stain, which is actually a floor finish stain, is because this table is made from red oak. And despite the colors darkening in the shot, this Nordic seal finish will actually lighten everything up, at least according to the research that I did. While this stuff goes on very easily, it does leave a couple little specks, but overall, I was really impressed with how this finish turned out. You will see the huge color difference here in just a second when this table is dry, and I am certainly no expert on this finish whatsoever, but one thing that I did notice is that you have to be extremely quick at putting this finish on. Now I'm not sure that I was even using it properly, but the way that I was using it, you have about 3 minutes before this stuff starts to set up. So my strategy was to grab a roller and go across the grain to kind of work that finish down in the grain, and then attempting to get there before everything did set up, go back with the grain to smooth everything out. For the drawer, I just used polyacrylic because it's actually made from white oak and I wanted to highlight the different colors. But then back on the apron and the legs, I went back to that Nordic seal which ended up brushing on just fine. So after all the hard work we've done on the table up to this point, one thing we want to do is to attach it in a manner to allow wood movement, or expansion and contraction of the tabletop across the grain. The easiest way to go about this, in my opinion at least, is to use Z-clips. So using either a slot cutting router bit or a biscuit joiner, you cut those slots out and then pop the Z-clips in place. Z-clips are also good because not only do they allow for wood movement, but they're offset slightly, and as you put the screws in, it'll actually pin the tabletop down to the apron. So with that final Z-clip in and the tabletop attached, we are finished with this table, and here is a look at the end result. This is the first table I have ever made with a drawer up under the apron, and overall, I would have to call this one a success. So now that this table is live and finished, I'm expecting the great hidden drawer table trend of 2024 to kick off anytime. Thanks for watching.